And you there, now it works. So I'm now live on the YouTube channel. For some reason, the event would not let me go live there, so hopefully people find me here. Let me check Instagram, bunch of people, Zoom, couple people. Okay, hi everybody. So let's get rolling. So a couple things at the top, because I would be a bad producer if I didn't do plugs and shit. First of all, thank you to the Patreon subscribers who helped me continue to do this. Small family over at patreon.com/necessaryoutlet. That's a special thanks to ANC, Gordon, Steven, and Domingo. Thank you for contributing. You helped me keep making productions and paying for stuff. If you are a fan and to join the Necessary Outlet Patreon, you get early content, you get exclusive content. One of those things I'm happy to announce is May 16th and 17th. I will be performing digitally at a Pride event sponsored by Bear World magazine. I didn't know this made me a bear, but apparently it does. So I'm going to be doing an hour-long set. I'm going to do it around the apartment with some minimal level production values, but there'll be an extra set recorded just for the Patreon people. Make sure to check out hopefully if you're on here, you're subscribed to the YouTube. So you get the other web series like Big Law and Millennial Memoir, and maybe you've checked out my music videos. My album For You was released last month and is out everywhere. You can stream it everywhere. And don't forget podcast community. And that's it for plugs. How's everybody doing? Brennan, Aaron, hi. Got a bunch of people over here. Oh, a bunch of people joined on YouTube. Excellent. All right, so let's get rolling with oh, Kathy's here. So Kathy played, remember people's names. This was Molly Ford, my mother, present day, my mother in season 3. It'll be a couple weeks before we get to that. So she's here. Jacob's here. Any message, Jacob, for the people? I know he has to jump. He's doing other Zoom calls, and he actually has a web series that he's doing himself off of Zoom. You should check that out. Jacob, if you send me the information, I will send that to people. Well, I'll wait to hear. Oh, he said big hi. He says hi to everybody. Jacob, of course, plays Matthew. You should have said tilapia. You've been away from this for too long. Okay, everybody. So this is how we're going to do it. We'll figure it out. If it's not working, please let me know. Like drop something in one of the chats if something isn't working. But if you have questions, if you want to, we've all watched this before. I mean, I've watched it a million times. But we've all watched it before. So if you have questions, if you want to know about certain actors, you want to know behind the scenes stuff, if you just want to enjoy it together, just drop me a line in one of the chats. Make sure I have everything up here. And yeah, and we'll just watch together. We'll do one episode a week, and hopefully we'll keep joining with people. And if it's quiet for a long period of time, I'll just jump in with things that I remember, because this was 3 years ago. So this is going to be quite a journey for me, because I have not watched the episode in full in a very long time. All right, so hopefully everybody has it up. YouTube.com. I pushed the playlist to the very top, youtube.com/necessaryoutlet. I am hitting play on episode 1, Void, now.
Winston Churchill's thing to accept.
It's my old shower. Andrew Lipson is a godsend. He was the second Jared cast after the first Jared dropped out after filming 2 of his scenes. And he suddenly decided he didn't want to kiss a guy on camera, even though he was gay and married. And he was a friend of my boyfriend at the time, which made things super awkward. And I cast Andrew Lipson in one day. He filmed the next day, and he was one of the best things to happen to the web series. He's lovely. He's a beautiful man. Super sweet. Straight man. That is Añejo in Hell's Kitchen, which will hopefully still be here. Oh, I was so thin.
What we're moving on. Dr. Newcat, finally, we've got a great job. She's starting to settle in.
So this scene was very tough because it was very noisy. So that's why the audio is kind of spotty.
I wasted 3 years on these fuckers.
You can't think like that. It's that.
And there was a bridal party screaming in the back that we had to do one line at a time because they were just going nuts.
Well, look who decided to show up. A lady on her
Right?
mask. She was occupied.
Mm.
Another, and maybe a drink for you? Let me sit, darling. Well,
A little tired.
that's good. House margarita? House. Let's see what it's $3 more, but it's what you want. And it looks like you can afford it.
So that happened.
It's a waiter.
It's cute.
Hey, I've checked them out before. I actually think used to live on the Karen.
Do you ever see them?
Who? Jared? B, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't choked to death, so no, it haven't.
Damn, Gina.
I loved it the second season when Trent got to call out Jamie for being the only white person he knows who watched Martin, which is what the Gina reference is for anybody.
You're a waiter, and I will be coming back for Bianca's order, and you are getting the Brussels and chicken tacos because you've never gotten anything else.
Which is true, was what I always ordered there.
No one's getting a tip.
In just a second.
Wait.
So-
What kind?
Bianca,
This one? The Boston dude?
Did you save this on your phone?
Mind your business.
so Bianca's character was named after this woman whose name is Bianca, but she wasn't set to play her. She was just a friend of a friend, and I liked her name. So I used her name in the show, and when I told her about it, she was like, you know, if you don't have anybody to play it, I'd love to do it. So she'd never acted before. She was very sweet to do it and help out.
How did I think it was my first
The first season was all volunteer.
We were Jared for like 5 years. And then there was David, like right before that. What, 2-3 years? You meet this Boston guy like a month after you and Jared broke up.
When that happened.
It's a pride party. I was still living with Jared, so we didn't get a hotel room.
Hi.
And I came home the next morning, he had this sour look on his face. He just said, "Happy Pride." It's glorious.
That happened. And it was glorious.
You thought pancakes were
So I do not know about my life. What did you do?
I remember telling her, I was like, you gotta like eat the chip, like really go for it. So when he comes up, you're like choking on this chip. And she wouldn't go for it.
You need to eat that new race right.
I want to see your name. Show.
He is young and pretty. I am old and tired.
Why?
Now I'm old and tired. I look young there.
Do it.
So you're like 20 something.
She is sweet. Bianca was very sweet. I was sad in the third season she wasn't able. She was working at Facebook actually at the time, and she got way too busy and she just wasn't able to continue. But Samantha Nixon, who took over the role, was also lovely.
Yay. That works, but you need to know that that was. And I'm off.
Yay! But dude, watch your nice stuff.
That's Taboon, which is on In Hell's Kitchen. And that is,
I'm actually together for like 8 months.
I rented that space. I don't know where that is. No. The actress, God, I'm young. The actress who played Carissa, the actress who played Catherine. She was friends with the managers. They let us film there, somewhere on the Upper West Side.
I am again. A cereal It's 2-minute cereal. It's better than a cereal from the guy. Probably the technical term for that is fun. Plus, I was in a gay relationship, so I can really use it. It's a shame.
How long did the filming for this episode take? Oh, Aaron, how do we launch? Sorry, I missed that question. So it's youtube.com/necessaryoutlet. It's the first episode of Void in history, and I am at 6 minutes and 40 seconds. How long did the filming take for us? So we filmed the entire season at the same time and out of order. We just filmed scenes as we could. So I think we started, the first photo shoot was mid-April, and the last scene was shot at the beginning of July. And so it's 6 half-hour episodes. And you can tell because, so I did all the flashbacks at the end, and I'm very tan because I went to Fire Island for a week in between to take a break. So I'm very pale until flashbacks. I'm just very tan in the flashbacks. That's Casalula, also in Hell's Kitchen. So this was the first thing I've ever filmed and ever edited, never did. So it's hard for me to kind of watch this because now I'm like looking at this and I'm like, someone should have fixed his hair. There should be a different light in the back. Like I'm like picking all these things apart. I've mastered the eye roll. Yeah, yes, I have Black Widow. Yes, I have.
Smooth. Yes. Women. Back to basics.
Young, gay, get your entourage of fabulous ladies to your training wheels to the bars, and when you feel safe and comfortable, you get your daily days. In about 10 years, but well, it would seem that my dad watched it was fine to begin with.
So, fabulous ladies. Gavin. So I take it you were Samantha.
Yeah, he moves up like that.
I'm very excited about to do that.
That's Craig. Craig's a friend. So this street corner was under construction. This is like 47 and 48 on 10th Avenue? 9th Avenue? 10th Avenue? We used it in season 2 as well. That dumpster, that blue dumpster that I'm about to make out with,
Sounds like you did the same with the episode.
I don't remember what his name was. Sean? I think his name was Sean. He was only in one episode. But I'm about to make out with him on that dumpster, and we used it. It's the exact same. It's just from the other side when Will in the second season is being like held up against a dumpster, making out. Like he said he's out of town, but he's actually like with Sean or whoever. He's like making out. It's the exact same one, and that was intentional. I wanted it to be the same location. Because Will in the second season is kind of going through what Jamie's going through now. The series got me through my thesis senior year. Oh my goodness. Senior year of what? High school or college? How old are you? There are babies on this channel? College, okay. All right, cool. It's my old apartment. I remember, so for the photo shoot, for the promo, we made it look like I was moving in. I'd lived there like several years. And so I rewrapped all my furniture and took the mattress off and hid it so it looked like it hadn't come yet. And so this scene was hilarious because it was very uncomfortable. I was wearing a sock. And he did not understand what was happening here. He was like, why do I like this? I'm like, I am rimming you. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, I'm sorry. And then I had explained to him in that moment what that was. And he was like, people do that? It was shocking.
I miss this.
Yeah.
Thank you, guests. Elasticity. What do you make of it? All the stuff. Stuff with it.
Check questions, check questions.
But no more talk of stuffing.
And you know, I would love nothing more than to be.
I know. I exclusivity. I guess it's soft.
That's one way of looking at it.
Hey, it's been a week.
I remember some of these lines.
And with all the packing, I
Sorry.
don't even know where you find the time to fuck other guys.
Just saying, it's not that. I just feel. No. I just feel a little more time. It's been a week, not even. Now remember what I said. You must jump. You're.
This was her favorite thing. We did it like 10 times. She wanted to do this so badly. She loved that. She loved doing that so much. So Carissa, also friend of mine from law school, non-actress, just wanted to help out because again, all volunteers at the beginning. She was so unhappy that in the second season she was very pregnant, and so we had to hide her. She was always shot like this.
Especially Jameson. Super cat. I forget. Do you keep in touch with any of those boys?
She was more movement in this.
No.
I mean, it makes sense. They were Jared's friends anyway.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. We met them. And it was me.
This was a very tough. So we did this whole thing in one shoot.
It was always.
I think we started at like 5, and I don't think we're done till like 1 in the morning
Jared.
because we just shoot my stuff with him, and then this whole bit, and then down sitting with the boxes next, and then listening to the song. Like basically the rest of the episode, we did it in one night, and it was
And I was homeless.
grueling.
I was fucking homeless.
Which is probably why we didn't do more of these shots. So we just had to get it done.
Agreed to put me up. Yeah, I had to ask him. Do you have any idea? And this couple.
Yeah, what more movement
We
in
were
this?
even close friends.
All right, I'll stop nitpicking.
And they were the only ones. Only ones.
Thanks for joining, people.
My
What'd you find funny, Black Widow?
Vino's mom.
This episode kind of reminds me of like when Sex and the City started and they did those things that they like stopped doing, like talking to the camera. They like did a couple things in those first couple episodes and then they were like, don't do that anymore. That's how I feel about this, like the little prompts I don't want to do anymore.
You're gonna find me not cool.
Definitely was from
Never move for a guy.
Never moved to Houston for me.
The asshole broke up on the phone before I even got on the plane. My life is in shambles. It wasn't meant to be.
I love when she's super dry.
Kevin, you know, sometimes guys just aren't ready for something real, something serious.
Yeah.
I mean, my ex certainly wasn't. I was always the one who was pushing for more of a connection, more of a commitment. But in the end, you do not want someone who is not fully committed.
I was committed to that relationship. I mean, you know, with couples there.
So the point of this whole scene was for to be. There were a lot of reviews of this scene that said like, "Oh, this was just it was so uncomfortable to watch," and it's like that was the point. I wanted this to be like he keeps talking about his stupid fucking ex, and he's on a date and he's talking to his friends, and that's all we can talk about. I wanted the audience to be like cringing of just like, shut up, stop, you're ruining this. And so when I got those kind of reviews about this scene, I was like,
What do you
no, that's what I wanted. It worked.
And a social.
Drowned. Now.
That chapter. Next one.
He said he was fine. He is fine. It takes time. Trust me. I know.
Hi, YouTube friends. For anybody who joined during, I'll tell you where we are in the episode. We are at 1650 in episode 1, Void. So season 1, because it was my first thing, I had like a consumer grade camera, 2 lights, and a boom mic. We didn't have any lamps at the time. So it's just really, it's funny now, like I don't know how I would do it with that kind of equipment now. But I mean, every setup had to be relit because we only had 2 lights. So like they're lit, they do their stuff, we have to relight the second side of the scene. Like, we could never have the full apartment done. My old neighborhood. Oh, you notice. There it is. Which makes, I think it makes it, it's a point later, I think in a Jared flashback, when I'm talking about the lamp that my mom gave me, he wanted to keep in the move out. That's this, which my mother actually did give me this lamp, but that's that lamp. So I wrote the song Take It All Away. It's available on YouTube if you want to listen to it. This version is performed by Rob Maitner, who plays Geo in season 1. Because we use it in season 2, that it's Geo's song, that the guy he's referencing right now is like, oh, he's my friend, he plays downtown. And I haven't met Geo yet. And it ends up being him, which I don't find out until the 2nd season. So that was always intended to be developed later. So that's why I had that actor, and unfortunately we had a new Geo. We rented a rehearsal space, Pearl Studios, with a piano, and just recorded him singing with a friend. This was tough to do. This is the first time I had to cry on camera, and it was after filming all that other stuff, and I was just so tired. And I remember after we were done and the crew left, I saw this set up, so I put the camera back and just alone did a couple takes of it, just to make sure I had it. I don't remember which one I used.
I only ever saw art, so I just can't.
I feel this so differently now. It's so funny.
Still feel every.
Nothing or everything. We'll take our time. Okay.
Somebody wrote me, one of our fans on Patreon wrote that this show didn't have enough sex and that it needed more sexiness and it would have more followings to have more sex. I was like, I think it has just enough sex. At the same time, wrote me a message that was like, can you, oh, thank you. And they said, can you point me to the episode where the orgy is? It's like, are you literally just, is that the only thing you've watched on this show? I gave it to him because, hell, you know, you're on Patreon, you're paying money, enjoy. I still have that bed. And that book is sitting over there.
Trying to get too pretty now. You're
That mirror is still in the bedroom.
Especially those ones with iPhone. I'll pick my stuff up later tonight, okay?
So we're getting a nice feature in Proud Times magazine in a couple weeks. The editor found the series and watched the whole thing and binged it and really loved it, so we just writing it up, which is really great. Is there sheet music for the song? There is. There is, and I can send that to you. I can send it to you. Yeah, I do have it. Let me think about where. Message me on the gram or.
So, verdict on Joshua.
Doors, I approve.
Best way to move on.
Somewhere. Send me a message and I'll get it to you.
It's good.
I think I have sheet music for the other two ones too. So each season has a song. Second season was Together. The third season was You Lose. I don't think You Lose has sheet music because I think I did it all on Logic. But the other two do.
It does. Maybe not on saxophone.
What? You need to get on that.
Well, not for lack of trying.
Wrapping that cabinet, which is now in my bedroom, was such a pain in the ass because it was slippery. So every time I wrapped the plastic around it, it all just like fell down. And I had like it's all taped up at the top to keep it. That was, I remember that. That was a pain in the ass.
Part of Jared will now be played by a handsome young waiter. Full speed ahead, James.
Am I wearing those right now? I think I am.
Are you there, Mom?
I'm wearing those boxer shorts. So that is my ex-boyfriend's old apartment.
Jimmy, what's wrong?
So that apartment was filmed as Ted's apartment at the RuPaul viewing party later in the season. That's just the bedroom, but the living room we used as Ted's apartment.
No, I just can't.
Hello?
I'll call you back.
And then in the third season, when Jamie's apartment was a new apartment, I moved in with the ex, we moved in together, so I had his furniture. So suddenly, a lot of Ted's furniture from the first season was now Jamie's furniture in his new apartment.
It's better if I start the day in my own apartment.
We figured nobody noticed. This was the third time we filmed this scene, this Jared scene. So we filmed it once with the old actor, once at a different location, where the shots just weren't good. And I just hated it. And I was like, I can't have this ugly shot in our first episode. And so I got him back and we went and did it one more time. And it was raining, which is why we couldn't move. So we're pushed up against a wall right where there's a tiny little awning and the camera has a big umbrella over it. And also you hear a little bit of the rain in the background and I think I'm a little wet and my hair is flat because of the humidity. But yeah, we had to wait until because it was torrential and then we had to wait for it to go down enough. There was so much of that with history, so much unexpected thunderstorms, especially in this season. In the last episode, when I go off on him, we filmed that for like 6 hours because we kept having surprise thunderstorms in the middle of shooting. But it helped me because all of that frustration was real. I was just, oof. I got a lot of peach emojis from Black Widow when my butt came out. You just put just a touch, just a taste of sexy in a gay web series, I think, in order to get the boys to watch. But I personally know, I said this to the guy earlier, like I am sick and tired of gay shows that are either entirely about the sexuality or are only about the fact that we're gay. Like I wanted to make a show that was just about something else. And this is about romance, but I feel like it's much more about loneliness than anything. We also filmed that in late June, so us dressed for winter, I was also sweating. Maxie. This is his normal bedtime, so I don't know if he'll make an appearance. So I had friends film this, and I remember just like months after, they were like, "Do you remember when we filmed Jack crying naked in a bathtub?" They would just bring it up all the time. Do you remember when Jack was naked in a bathtub when we were filming it?
Hey, you. I'm like getting a little drop by.
So this is the actual apartment of the actor who plays Ted. Everyone in the cast let us use their apartments, thank God. So we didn't have that. I was literally, that shirt was just folded over here. I was wearing it yesterday.
About?
I'm so thin.
I can't do this. Okay, why? But come sit down. Let's talk about this.
I'm not ready for something that's real. What I went through this summer, Josh, it took a lot of
Okay. I know. We've talked about this, and
I like the way he's lit
about it.
in
It's
this
a
scene.
process we can do together.
We can't do it together. I have to do it on my own.
Why?
Because I can't move on.
There are moments
You yourself said the other day.
where I'm like, oh, you figured out how to do that right.
No,
Like,
comes down.
the
I don't
shot,
wanna
like
sit
that's,
down.
his shot is a great shot. It's well lit, well done.
If I do, I'm gonna change my mind. I just need to give you your stuff.
And that's what happened with that guy that I was dating that was, related to this. This was based off of. He was very good at like, well, no, let's just talk and then we talk and we talk and we talk and then I'd end up still with him and I could never actually like break up with him because he was really good at. And he was sweet. I mean, nothing against him, but I was not ready to date anybody.
Like I tried to slot Seth in Jared before I even met you. Just trying to fill an empty space so I don't feel the absence of you. But I don't feel okay with that absence. Or I try.
So it was intentional not to have any of the other main characters introduced in this episode. I wanted people to just understand where Jamie was at the start and who he was, and sort of in my head it was sort of like a Wizard of Oz journey. Like the next episode he met the Scarecrow, the next episode he met the Tin Man. Like that was like my thought process. So the second episode is when Will first shows up, and the third episode is where Matthew first shows up, and the fourth episode is where Ted shows up. 5 is their first group conflict, and then 6 is really putting it all to bed with Jared. Very handsome man. Then the idea was throughout the rest of the show, the idea was to, the whole construct of history was to show why Jamie made certain decisions based on things that happened in his past or relationships he was in or whatever. And show in the real time when confronted with a similar situation, whether he fell into the same trap or whether he changed it. So in the first episode, to set the structure of the series, he makes a different choice. He doesn't do what he did with Jared. He doesn't, just decide to push through. He breaks it off and realizes he just needs to be alone, which is hard for him. Being alone is hard for Jamie. He needs that, and you see him collect these people then, having people around him. So that the first episode, it was important for him to break a cycle. I think in the second season a lot, you see Jamie just like mistake. And because season 1 was so like, oh, poor Jamie, and the fact that I was playing him and wrote the show and everything, I felt it really like, for me, in order to justify that this was a piece of art and not just a vanity project, in the second season, the villain is Jamie. like I really wanted to make sure that he was a dick in the second season and being rude to Will and like, yeah, I really wanted to make sure that that was captured. So that's episode 1. It's a little crunchy, but it's still a nice episode. Started everything. We will be back next week with episode 2. Will is going to join us, so I will try to get him on Zoom so he can talk as well. Thank you guys for joining live. I know it's a small crew. I've got a handful of people on each one, in and out. But listen, I appreciate you guys so much. Like, I never imagined when I made this, like, I kind of just made this for me because it was just like, I really want to do this. And like the letters that I got after season 1 came out and just the YouTube subscriptions and emails and the, like, I was really shocked to find that it had a home and that people really enjoyed it, and that inspired me to make season 2. It was really, you know, that your reaction to it that made me write season 2. And I wrote season 2 the weekend after season 1 came out because when it came out, like the reach out was so strong. And then season 3 was the same thing. Like season 2 grew twice as much as season 1 grew, you know, subscriber viewership. And I would love to do, I ask all the time, when season 4, I would love to do season 4. I got to get the money. Like, I can't spend, this is all my own money and it's prohibitive at this point. So if there's money for it, we could do a season 4, but I'm actually happy where season 3 ended. If that's the end of it, I like where it ended up, but who knows? I never thought I'd do 1 season, let alone 3. So who knows? All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, Zoom. Thank you, YouTube. We'll be back next week. Message me about the sheet music. I will talk to you later. Mwah. Bye, everybody.